What up, folks? I'm Ultrazilla, and tonight I'm going to give you a little bit of a primer to my best of the year list, which comes out on January 1st. This is a how I come up with the list video. I wanted to make a video that is specifically something that I could point out to folks when folks are asking about how I come up with my list and what my criteria is. Instead of giving a long spiel at the beginning of every best of the year video, I figured let me do a video that I could point folks out to, and then we could just keep going on the actual meat and potatoes of the best of the year list. So, how do I come up with it? What is my criteria? Well, let's start out with what I said. The videos always come out on January 1st. That is because I like to look back at the year prior, at the very beginning of the following year. Like, I'd like to start the year by looking back. That's what I always say in those videos, and for me it makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't like to do my best of the year videos like in the middle of December and just get rid of them, because you know what? I get toys to the very end of the year. Like, there's always stuff coming in. Even as we speak, there's something coming in. And that's a generic statement because, you know, like, that could be any year. At any time, things could be coming. And I want to give, you know, myself enough time to possibly review something before the end of the year. So I go till, December 31st on the decision-making process. And then I start making my best of the year video. And it always comes out on January 1st. So do look forward to that. That is the first thing. You know, like, it's something that, you know, I need folks to know. That's when I do it, and that's, you know, why I do it. But there's other reasons for that as well. Like, because, you know, with everything that does come out, you know, I get stuff from Japan. There's stuff that gets distributed late here in the States. So there's a lot of stuff, moving parts at the end of the year. But honestly, I try to be as real as possible about this stuff. I can't get everything. Now, that's a broad statement because, honestly, guys, I cannot get everything during the year. There's stuff that you got that's going to be on your list that I didn't get. It happens, you know, like, we're all different collectors. We all get different things. I'm not going to have the same things as another reviewer, and another reviewer is not going to have the same things as I do. So these things are subjective to, you know, my taste. So on my best of the year list, you're probably not going to see stuff that I didn't like, that I didn't buy, or just I couldn't review. That said, I try to review everything that I get, you know, during the year. This is in stark contrast to how I used to operate, where I would just create a giant backlog of stuff, and like then you'd see stuff on my best of the year list that I didn't even get to that I might have played around with here. I don't do that anymore. Like, now, you know, from a few years back now, I've been strictly putting stuff on the list that I reviewed. I had to have reviewed it in that year to count. Now, there's stuff, obviously, that comes out in December that I can't get, like I mentioned. There's, like, you know, stuff that comes out in Japan that like final week that is almost impossible for me to get, you know, here in time. There is, like I said, stuff that's distributed here in the States that is not in wide distribution yet. So there's stuff that comes out in December that I'll probably get in January that will count towards the next year and not, you know, this year. I call that Nebulous December because it's very fungible. Like, it's like, you know, you could interpret it many different ways. And this is how I interpret it. And these are my rules. Like, again, I just want to point that out. This is how I do things. It's not, you know, the right way for someone else. It's not like what I'm telling everybody to do. It's how I go about doing these things. You know, like, you know, making sure I reviewed something is very, very important to me. It kind of puts up like a little firewall for me to, like, not overspend during the year anymore and get too much stuff. You know, like, keeps me honest in that regard. I had to have reviewed it. And besides, how can I possibly put something on a best of the year list if you didn't see me review it here. Like, that's really, really important to me. It keeps things honest between us. I want you to trust me as a reviewer. I don't want to ever put stuff on these lists anymore that, like, I only got a chance to play around with. Heck, I've seen reviewers put stuff on these lists that they didn't even have in hand yet. Like, I never want to see that happen here at all. Like, I'll never get to that point. So you can trust me on that. But that's, like, really, really important for me, is to have reviewed it. Like, if I got it and I reviewed it, it's eligible. If not, it's going to count towards the next year. But mostly, like, it's stuff that's in transit or stuff that I haven't gotten yet that, will count as that nebulous December item that, like, will count towards the next year. It happens every year, and I'm sure it's going to happen on the next best of the year list that you will see. It's just, I think it's a good rule. It makes a lot of sense. There's also different release dates, right? Like, for the Japanese stuff, there's stuff that comes out in December that here in the States won't come out for another month and a half, 2 months. Is the US release date not valid? It is totally valid, especially if you have your pre-orders on a, US release on a US site, right? So, of course, that's going to count for the following year and not this year. So, like, these things are very nebulous, and they should be. So that's how I go about doing that particular thing. Those are very important things for me, because, like, I want to be able to represent as much as I possibly can. But again, I can't get everything that you got, and I'm very diverse as a collector, so there's going to be a lot of stuff here that you're like, oh, I, wouldn't have gotten that. But I think these lists help, folks see more things, because it's going to be next to other things that you liked. And, shouldn't it be interesting, if something that you don't collect and, like, didn't really have a thought to getting comes up higher than something that you do like? Aren't you curious? I would hope folks would be curious about these things, because it's fun. So the lists are a good opportunity for me to show a lot of different things that are out there all together and see how they all compare to each other. So all of those things are really, really important. The nebulous December, the had to have reviewed it, those things are, like, super, super important. Like, I can't get everything, just things you should know, before you watch those videos. And everything is subjective. There's no objective reviews out there. A best of the year list and a favorites list should, in my opinion, be one and the same thing. If they're not, they're not. Like, again, I'm not saying how other people should act, but maybe I am, because it's something I really do believe. But that's how I go about my business, like, put my heart on my sleeve, and, like, that's, like, the things I like are the things that I considered the best things of the year. Otherwise, why would they even make the list? So I just wanted to point all of that stuff out. Really important stuff, in my opinion. And there you go, guys. That is, I believe, everything, that you need to know to enjoy my best of the year list. The most important thing, I think, is the nebulous December thing, because we can't possibly, get everything in one year. Especially in December. Christmas is in December. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you gotta buy gifts for other people. It's not all about you all the time, or even your channel. Like, so those are the things, that are really, really important. And December becomes a weird, weird month. So that's how I deal with my December. I think it's a good rule, and it's a rule that makes a lot of sense, because it's going to be stuff that other folks, other reviewers, will have on the list the following year as well. So just because of where they get it, like, who's to say someone is wrong? Nobody is wrong when it comes to this stuff. Again, all of it is subjective. And now, there you go. Go enjoy my best of the year video. I'm sure this year's list is going to have some awesome figures and a lot of cool surprises as well. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace out, peeps.